What if the reason most men fail with women has nothing to do with their looks, their height, their job, or their bank account, but everything to do with the energy they bring into the room? What if seduction isn't luck, charm, or destiny, but a skill, a psychological game that only a few understand? And what if the trick to winning that game is not about controlling her at all, but about controlling yourself so completely that she becomes drawn to you without even understanding why? Most men think attraction is about doing more effort, more compliments, more messages, more availability, more approval. But the truth is far simpler and far more dangerous to accept. Women are attracted not to the man who tries the hardest, but to the man who is the hardest to influence. A woman can feel when a man is centered, when he is grounded, when he leads himself instead of chasing others. That calmness radiates something she can't ignore. And this right here is the heart of Machiavellian, dark psychology in relationships. Machiavelli wasn't teaching manipulation. He was teaching human nature, and human nature hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in politics, in power, in leadership, or in love. The rules are the same. People follow confidence. They submit to emotional stability. They admire control. They crave mystery. They respect power, and they desire what is not desperate. That's why seduction is a game. Not a game of lies, but a game of emotional influence. And once you understand the trick, you realize something liberating. You don't win women by performing. You win by existing as a man she cannot easily decode or control. Imagine walking into a room where two men are talking to the same woman. One man is trying too hard. You can feel it. He's smiling too much, leaning too close, talking too fast, looking for signs of approval. His nervousness vibrates off his skin. His energy screams, "Please like me." The second man stands with quiet confidence. He doesn't rush. He doesn't compete. He speaks only when he wants to. His posture is relaxed. His eyes are steady. He isn't performing for her, he's simply present. And without trying, he pulls her attention. He does nothing, and yet she feels everything. That stillness, that control, that emotional gravity is the first element of seductive power. Machiavelli understood that power comes from self-command. If someone else controls your emotions, they control you. When a woman senses that your mood depends on her reaction, her message, her attention, or her validation, she instantly loses respect. Not because she's cruel, but because it signals weakness. Weakness ruins seduction. A man who is too emotional too early, who overreacts to simple things, who spirals the moment she pulls away, throws away his power. But a man who stays steady when she tests him, that man becomes unforgettable. Women trust the man who stays calm. They admire the man who stays in control. They desire a man who doesn't break. But calmness is only the beginning. The next principle is mystery, the secret ingredient men underestimate the most. Humans crave what they don't fully understand. Machiavelli saw that a leader who revealed everything lost influence. The same rule applies in attraction. When you give a woman all your secrets, all your life details, all your emotions, all your vulnerability, all your plans, all your attention too soon, you collapse the mystery. There's nothing left for her to discover, nothing to uncover, nothing to explore. Curiosity dies, and once curiosity dies, attraction follows. Mystery does not mean being secretive or cold. It means revealing yourself slowly, showing depth one layer at a time. Let her feel your presence instead of dumping your biography. Letting her wonder where your mind goes when you stare into the distance. Let her imagine what your daily life looks like when she's not around. Letting her guess what you're thinking when you take a moment before replying. That space, that small gap between what she knows and what she wants to know, that is where desire grows. You don't need to hide. You just need to stop oversharing. Let her earn each chapter of you instead of handing her the whole book on page 1. But mystery alone won't win the game. Machiavelli knew that people chase what has value. And this is where most men lose. They think being unavailable makes them attractive. They think ignoring messages, being rude, or acting cold creates desire. But Machiavelli warned that unnecessary difficulty creates resentment, not loyalty. Seduction is not about being hard to get. It's about being hard to replace. A man who is difficult just to play games becomes annoying. But a man who is genuinely valuable becomes magnetic. Women chase a man who is building something, a career, a vision, a purpose. They chase a man who has a routine, goals, discipline, and direction. They can feel when his life is already full. They can feel the momentum around him. And that makes her want to be part of his world. Think about it. A man who wakes up early, trains his body, strengthens his mind, works on something bigger than himself, reads, improves, builds, grows. That man becomes rare. Not because he tries to be rare, but because he actually is. And rare things are treated with care. Women respect men with structure. They admire men with purpose. They desire men who have options, not because it creates competition, but because it creates value. A man with no purpose is forgettable. A man with purpose becomes unforgettable. But purpose doesn't make you seductive by itself. Seduction requires emotional contrast. Too much sweetness and you become boring. Too much coldness and you become distant. Too much attention and you become predictable. Too much mystery and you become frustrated. Seduction is an emotional rhythm, the rise and fall of connection. A seductive man knows when to lean in and when to pull back, when to be soft and when to be firm, when to give affection and when to give space, when to open up and when to stay quiet. This contrast makes her feel alive. It creates emotional tension. She feels safe with you because you're calm, but she feels excited because she can't predict every move. You touch her hand at the right moment and she melts. You walk away to focus on your purpose and she misses you. That tension, that push and pull, is the heartbeat of seduction. Selective attention is another Machiavellian principle. Machiavelli wrote that attention is a currency. Spend it wisely and you gain influence. Spend it carelessly and you lose it. Most men give attention like water from a broken faucet. Too constant, too available, too desperate. But a seductive man gives his attention with intention. When he looks at her, he actually sees her. When he touches her, it means something. When he compliments her, it's real. But he does not overspend attention. He does not sacrifice his routine. He does not make her the center of his universe. He values her, but he values himself more. And that balance makes his attention worth something. A woman doesn't want all your attention. She wants attention that feels earned. Now here comes the darkest, most powerful part of psychology. Machiavelli taught that without consequences, people lose respect. And in seduction, respect is everything. Attraction cannot survive without respect. The moment a woman realizes she can disrespect you without losing you, the game is over. Most men tolerate bad behavior out of fear. Fear of losing her, fear of conflict, fear of loneliness, fear of being alone. But when you accept disrespect, you teach her you have no value. Seduction requires boundaries, not harsh boundaries, not angry boundaries, quiet boundaries, calm boundaries, the kind that speaks louder than any argument. If she pulls away, you don't chase. If she cancels at the last minute, you don't beg. If she gets disrespectful, you step back. If she tests you, you stay calm. Your silence becomes your strength. Your distance becomes your message. Your standards become your identity. And that identity makes you powerful. Because here is the truth. A woman cannot love a man she does not respect. And she cannot respect a man who cannot walk away. The moment you show her that you will lose yourself just to keep her, she stops seeing you as someone worth keeping. But when you silently walk away from disrespect, when you refuse to beg, when you refuse to crumble, when you show emotional independence, she sees something rare, strength, not anger, not ego, strength. And strength is seductive. So what is the trick? The trick is mastering yourself so deeply that your presence becomes irresistible. Seduction is not acting. It's not pretending. It's not manipulation. It's transformation. A seductive man is a man who is emotionally calm, mentally strong, spiritually focused, and quietly confident. He feels no need to prove anything. He carries himself like someone with nothing to hide and nothing to chase. His value is obvious. His presence is stable. His eyes show depth. His silence shows control. His words land heavier because he chooses them carefully. His emotions are steady. His purpose gives him direction. His standards protect his worth. And all of this turns seduction into something effortless. Women do not chase the loudest man in the room. They chase the man who feels like a storm behind the silence. The man whose calmness feels like confidence. The man whose purpose feels like gravity. The man whose standards feel like strength. The man who doesn't need anyone, but chooses someone with intention. That is seductive. That is powerful. That is the Machiavellian edge. If this message gave you clarity, if it shifted how you see yourself, then let this be your next step. Become the man who leads himself, who respects himself, who grows himself. If you want more lessons like this, more power, more clarity, more calmness, more inner strength, then like this video, subscribe to the Untroubled Stone and turn on notifications. The journey to becoming an unshakable man begins now. And once you become this version of yourself, the game will never be the same again.